Entertainment Tonight, the most watched entertainment news program in the world.
The latest on the woman in the middle of the Clinton sex scandal as she heads back to Beverly Hills. Monica Lewinsky was greeted by El Nino as she came home to visit her father. But the rain hasn't dampened Hollywood's opinions on the controversy.
If each of us had Ken Starr and his staff on us, we could interest the world.
Plus, Billy Baldwin speaks out on his big brother's apparent overdose at the Plaza Hotel.
Leonardo DiCaprio's lost nude scenes.
Don't expect me to be faithful to you.
Before Titanic, he took it all off. It's the little-known movie that has Leo steaming up the screen in love scenes you'll just have to see to believe. Then, whatever happened to Webster in the Entertainment Tonight cover story?
How you doing, man?
At 26, the sitcom star tells where he's been as he revisits the soundstage where he spent his childhood.
Inside Jane Seymour's multi-million-dollar Malibu mansion.
Yay!
From the swimming pool to the fish pond, we're taking a tour with Dr. Quinn and her twins.
Plus, the Victoria's Secret sneak peek. They're getting ready for the runway, and we're behind the scenes with the bare essentials. Welcome to Entertainment Tonight for this Tuesday, February 3rd, 1998. Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Hart.
And I'm Bob Goen. Glad you could join us. Barbra Streisand, Tom Hanks, Elton John. President Clinton's biggest Hollywood supporters are heading back to the White House as Monica Lewinsky escapes the White House sex scandal and heads home to Brentwood. Today, Monica left Washington for California, surrounded by security. She may have expected warm weather upon her return to Southern California, but Monica Lewinsky arrives under stormy skies and the watchful eye of the media looking to cover her every move. Los Angeles police are restricting traffic in front of Monica's father's home, and in order to avoid a media circus, have designated one network pool camera to shoot Monica's comings and goings.
We haven't seen the father come and go. We've had the police come by and make sure that we're abiding by the arrangement.
One thing we know for sure that Monica Lewinsky won't be doing while she's here is revisiting old friends. Because for the past week and a half, every friend that she's, so-called friend she's ever had has essentially come out and said some very not-so-nice things about her.
Despite the simmering scandal, the stars are returning to the White House. The guest list is Hollywood's A-list for Thursday night's state dinner for British Prime Minister Tony Blair. Elton John and Stevie Wonder are expected to serenade the guests in style.
They're coming out to be seen, but they're also, whether they realize it or not, part of the continuing performance that Clinton is putting on to exercise as much of a presidential appearance as he possibly can.
If each of us had Ken Starr and his staff on us, we could interest the world.
In Wag the Dog, Dustin Hoffman portrays a Hollywood producer who creates a phony war to divert public attention away from a presidential sex scandal. He says he's not passing judgment on the real drama in the White House.
Thankfully, it's wonderful that the country's able to separate while due process is being done.
The wheels in Washington are turning. ABC News political analyst and former Clinton aide George Stephanopoulos was called to appear before the grand jury to tell what he knows. Last night, he told Larry King he remembered Monica.
Oh, I would see her in the hallway. She would hang out at the Starbucks by my house.
In New York, Loose Lips, a new comedy review, parodies the scandal with the granddaughter of former Vice President Nelson Rockefeller portraying Lewinsky.
Maybe we should just tell the creep. Maybe we should just say, don't ever talk to me again.
Rockefeller reenacts the actual transcripts from Lewinsky's taped conversations with Linda Tripp. For her research, she spoke to a former classmate of the real Monica.
She feels like she's very bright and knows what's going on and is very probably enjoying the attention and probably thinks that she's quite a catch these days.
Loose Lips 1998 is scheduled to run only 8 performances off Broadway, but the producers say if the Clinton sex scandal drags on, they may rewrite and update their play and bring it back to the stage later.
One of the acting Baldwin brothers is in real trouble. Daniel Baldwin was rushed to a New York hospital yesterday after an apparent drug overdose. And now brother William is telling what he knows in the ET News brief. William Baldwin, acting as his family's spokesman, attempted to clear up reports concerning his brother Daniel's apparent drug overdose.
My brother's in excellent shape.
Newspaper reports said the 37-year-old former co-star of Homicide was found naked and hallucinating at New York's Plaza Hotel.
I did speak to a police officer yesterday who was there, and he said to me that there certainly was no rampage and that his hotel room wasn't trashed.
Family members were spotted visiting Daniel at St. Luke's Roosevelt Hospital.
I'm actually more concerned with my mother at this point than I am with my brother, because she was a little bit overwhelmed by the media's response to this.
El Nino rained on Rosie O'Donnell's parade this morning.
Hello, Los Angeles!
During Rosie's broadcast from the West Coast, storms knocked her right off the air.
Cause I eat mounds and M&M's, plain of peanuts by the pound, won't run around, I don't even bend.
12 stations on the East Coast had to run backup episodes, but the problem was quickly solved and the rest of the country saw the entire sunny show. Rosie's LA adventure continues through the beginning of next month.
Paul Newman is back, locking those laser blue eyes on yet another glamorous Hollywood leading lady. Just don't ask him to kiss and tell after he steams up the screen.
I don't think about steamy very much except for lobsters and vegetables. But steamy is good. Steamy is good.
We've got an exclusive look behind the steamy scenes as Paul Newman turns up the heat with Susan Sarandon in their new movie, Twilight.
What's your ration for the day?
7. 8 yesterday, 6 tomorrow.
How many so far?
12. He's a great kisser, yeah. Oh, I love him when he's forceful.
Newman plays the part of a retired private eye who gets mixed up in murder with Sarandon and her husband, played by Gene Hackman. While Susan may be swooning over Paul's pucker, Newman won't kiss and tell.
I'm not a squealer. I'm not a songbird. So I'm just going to let this have a life of its own and see what happens.
Maybe people like you shouldn't get close to people like me.
And at the age of 73, Paul proves he can still hold his own as a leading man.
Every morning when I wake up and I have a pulse, I consider the rest is gravy.
You can see what happens when Oscar winners Paul Newman, Susan Sarandon, and Gene Hackman bring Twilight to theaters on the first Friday of March. Also, you can find more of our interview with Paul Newman and Susan Sarandon right now at ET Online on the World Wide Web.
Leonardo DiCaprio heats up the high seas in Titanic, but coming up on ET, we have the lost movie with Leo in a forbidden love affair that's now flying off the shelves. Then, at home with Jane Seymour. Dr. Quinn invites us in for a real-life house call at her Malibu mansion. Plus, the ER emergency that hit too close to home, next on ET. Noah Wiley may not see fellow Doc Anthony Edwards around the ER for a while. He has a family emergency to take care of, and Anthony is sharing his feelings inside Hollywood.
Get the wheelchair.
Thursday on NBC, Anthony Edwards leaves the ER to battle with Navy hospital doctors who are treating his injured mother, but she's suffering from an illness far more serious.
I want to talk to Dr. Sayers now, whether he's on call or not. Yeah, he always seemed to get to do these different kinds of shows. As always, it'll be a very special ER.
I was tenant of the month 11 times last year. Please.
Big trouble on tonight's Home Improvement when Tim becomes Al's landlord.
As we all know, you shouldn't mix business with pleasure. Or you shouldn't be landlord.
Well, you shouldn't make pleasure business.
Or you shouldn't have a pleasurable business.
But it's clear business is pleasure for these good buddies, and they're already making plans for their after-sitcom life.
We're going to do malls from now on. When the show goes like this, it's Al and Tim in the mall. Remember Tool Time? Or
Anita Polone? That's my mom's name. My God, Bug! How could you have been in my class for 3 years and never mentioned how incredibly hot your mom was?
It's a close encounter of the sexual but casual kind on Wednesday's Third Rock from the Sun when John Lithgow brags about a fling with his student's mother.
Your car? You did it in your car?
Dom DeLuise and his real-life sons are the enraged family members.
It's like a chemical reaction. You know, you put all these people on stage at the same time and the stage explodes.
I bet. Also inside Hollywood, there is a Cheers reunion on Kirstie Alley's Veronica's Closet. Ted Danson guest stars Thursday on NBC as an old high school flame who returns for the conquest.
It's Dr. Quinn's prescription for peace and quiet. If life imitates art, then Jane Seymour's multi-million-dollar mansion is her masterpiece. It is a far cry from the Old West setting of Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. This 11,000 square foot beachfront house perched quietly atop a cliff in Malibu is where Jane Seymour calls home.
Yay!
She shares the tri-level sandstone home with her husband of 4.5 years, James Keach, and their children. Fully appointed with a tennis court, screening room, and putting green, the multi-million-dollar mansion is surrounded by lush gardens designed by Keach, including an exotic koi pond, as well as an art studio for the actress turned artist.
I realize that it's the one thing that's really the essence of me. I don't do it for approval, I do it for me. People always say, well, you do so much, but how do you ever find time for yourself, you know, with the 6 kids and the series? And I go, this is what I do. I don't go and do yoga, I don't get my hair done, I don't get my nails done. This is one of my favorites. This is Chris and John looking for bugs. It's called Twins Looking for Bugs. They paint with me. I have little easels in the back room, and I paint with them. I let them have a go, and you know, they're very good about not touching Mommy's painting. I am more excited about this than I am about my acting at the moment. It's a little embarrassing. This is painting that I'm looking forward to doing next. So this one hasn't been made yet, but these are the boys running away. This year, Corbell approached me and said, would I like to do one of their bottles? And then this is the famous hibiscus painting. If you do happen to drink it, you can use it as a vase or, I don't know, some sort of ornament. They've actually taken something that's as close to me as you get.
Actually, Jane will unveil her original artwork at a special auction held by Corbell 1 week from today. And going on the auction block will be champagne flutes signed by celebrity couples, including Goldie and Kurt, Anne and Ellen, Sly and Jennifer, Heather and Richie, and of course, Mary and me.
Ah, yes, that incredibly artistic pair. Whatever happened to TV's Webster? His sitcom was canceled. He disappeared from Hollywood. Now coming up, an incredible E.T. cover story on Webster's whereabouts today.
I'd still get noticed, but I wouldn't get mobbed.
Then, Leonardo DiCaprio talks about the controversial love scenes of his racy film roles. Plus, just in time for Valentine's Day, Victoria's Secret has a sneak peek of its sexiest lingerie. Next on E.T.
What he lacked in size, he made up for in heart. Emmanuel Lewis as Webster was a huge TV success in the 80s. But what's happened to Webster since? From his determination to lead a normal life to chasing the dream of stardom, his triumphant Hollywood return is the Entertainment Tonight cover story.
I think I like Hollywood Boulevard the best. They don't have those strange-looking people like that in Chicago.
Throughout the late 80s, Emmanuel Lewis was on top of the world with a hit sitcom, TV specials, and Michael Jackson as a best friend. But when the show was canceled in 1987, it was as though Emmanuel disappeared, leaving many to ask, where's Webster?
School. School, lots of school. Just graduated, so I'm extremely happy about that.
Now 26 and flush with a theater arts degree from Clark Atlanta University, Emmanuel says his years away from Hollywood were liberating.
It was a good feeling. Most people, I guess, would see it as in a negative way, but freedom is what it was. I mean, I was able to go into a grocery store, you know, and I'd still get noticed, but I wouldn't get mobbed.
Over the years, he's remained a subject of curiosity. Last summer, the tabloids reported Emmanuel was selling car wax out of a van to pay the bills.
That was funny. It was complete falsehood. It's funny, but it's not true.
Dang, David, I didn't know you could get down like this. Shoot, you think this is good? You should see me do the limbo. Ooh.
Emmanuel recently came back to Hollywood for a guest shot opposite Brandy on Moesha.
I did grow up watching him. I love Webster. I told him a minute ago that all I wanted to do when he was younger and when I was younger, I wanted to just pinch his cheeks. I thought it was so cute.
The show was taped just a few sound stages away from where Emmanuel spent 4 years shooting Webster.
It feels like home. I mean...
This is the CBS News Special Report. Dan Rather reporting from CBS News World Headquarters in New York. In Huntsville, Texas, Karla Faye Tucker has been executed. She was executed tonight by lethal injection. She was pronounced dead a short while ago. All of Tucker's last-second appeals to the U.S. Supreme Court and to Texas Governor George W. Bush were rejected, and the execution began. She was the first woman executed in Texas since the Civil War. Karla Faye Tucker was convicted of an especially brutal double pickaxe murder. She said she was born again. Her supporters said she deserved to live. But tonight, after the U.S. Supreme Court rejected her appeals, Texas Governor George W. Bush said it was, quote, his job to enforce the laws, and he added, and I quote the governor now, "May God bless Karla Faye Tucker, and may God bless her victims' families." With that, the execution was clear to get underway, and Karla Faye Tucker was pronounced dead a short while ago. Dan Rather, CBS News, New York.
This has been a CBS News Special Report.
In an extraordinary interview, Mother Dolores Hart breaks her 30-year silence and tells why she walked away from Hollywood at the height of her fame. Then,
aloha, E.T.
we're making a date with supermodel Tyra Banks as she heats up the islands for her new swimsuit calendar.
All in a day's work, E.T.
Plus, Sharon Stone's love life.
Are you getting married? Are you engaged?
Only E.T. has the surprising answer as Sharon sits down one-on-one. That's tomorrow.
Leonardo DiCaprio left millions of women swooning after sailing away with their hearts on Titanic. But before he hit the big time, Leo made a small independent film called Total Eclipse. And not much of Leo was left to the imagination. With the sensational success of Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio is approaching superstar status. As a result, the films he did before, like Romeo and Juliet, The Basketball Diaries, and his Oscar-nominated role in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, are finding brisk new business on home video.
Now that Leonardo is hitting his peak, they want to see all of his work.
One film his fans are finding is 1995's Total Eclipse. Its scenes of explicit nudity and sex could make it Leonardo's most controversial role.
He is someone who doesn't shy away from difficult characters.
It's based on the life of the outrageous 19th century poet Rimbaud. The story centers on a sexual relationship with fellow poet Verlaine, played by David Thewlis.
It's not about homosexual relations. It's not about a couple, you know. It's not what it's about. It's about these two guys sort of taking Paris by storm and taking the whole poetry world by storm.
Still, Leo acknowledged the sex scenes were a challenge.
Tough. You know, but you have to do it if you're going to do a film like this. It's a part of it.
Total Eclipse earned some $340,000 in theaters, about 1/10% of Titanic's current gross. Now it's swimming upstream in the bigger film's wake.
Apparently it is now flying off the video shelves into people's homes so they can check out another side of Leonardo.
But even in 1995 on the streets of Paris, Leo knew his true fans.
A bunch of schoolgirls or something. Then it's like wildfire. One says it to one girl and they all go, "Oh yeah, I know him."
Looked awfully young 3 years ago, didn't he? In that 1995 interview, Leonardo told us he preferred to work on low-budget movies unless a really good, big-budget one happened to come along. But he said then those types of films are rare. Aha. We'll be right back. Which actor was the voice of Timon the meerkat in The Lion King? Is it James Earl Jones, Jeremy Irons, or Nathan Lane? Your answer is next in the E.T. Birthdays.